Hey guys, this is Damien. Thank you again for joining us on this video. If this is your first time, please be sure to hit that bell notification. We got a lot of good videos coming up. Also, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you find that this video is helpful to you in any way, or comment whether or not you had the same experiences. This one is going to be what you should do when you first get your camper or travel trailer, RV, whatever it is you're purchasing. The first thing that you guys should do when you get it home, and we'll get into that right after this. All we got is time, so stay a while, stay a while. Alright guys, so in this video we'll kind of go through the beginning stage of how the process is going to go really quick, and then get into what to look out for and what I actually noticed on my first walkthrough before I hooked up and took my travel trailer home. So when you first get there, you're obviously going to look at campers, trailers, RVs, whatever you're in the market for, and you're going to find the one that you want, right? And then you're going to do the finance paperwork if you're financing, or you're going to pay cash for it. But they're going to get it ready for you. Usually takes anywhere from the same day to a couple days. And then they'll get you on the schedule to come do your final walkthrough. And you will then hook up and take your camper home. And that is great, guys. It's very exciting to do this. It's nerve-wracking, it's happy, it's pretty much any feeling you can imagine. It's kind of like when you first buy your own car and you get it at a dealership, right? So you have all those emotions and excitement, and with this, you know, you're already trying to plan your first trips and all that good stuff. So we've had our camper for about a week and a half, 2 weeks at most, and I did all the paperwork, filled it out, was going through the walkthrough, and he was explaining how everything works, what does what goes where, and that was all great. Then we, you know, come around the camper, we walk up the stairs and get inside the camper, and he's showing me around and pretty much, you know, the furnace, the fridge, and all that good stuff. And I was talking with him, and then I noticed it smelled like there was burning wire smell, and he said that he didn't smell it, but if I smell something similar to that, that's probably just everything running power through it and burning off all the dust and blah 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 blah. Which, you know, he's a mechanic, so that's, you know, you're gonna trust him. You're gonna be like, okay, I trust what you're saying is correct, and I'm probably just imagining things. And you move on, right? And that's kind of what happened in my situation. Now, in our situation, we decided to take it home, you know, get a generator, hook everything up, and everything seemed fine. But the one thing that we didn't do is our own personal walkthrough thoroughly, where we go through every little thing and make sure it works. And we decided to take our camper, less than a week of having it, out to around the Skyway Bridge area, and that's in our other video. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. And we camped over at a rest area with security overnight, and literally not even 20 seconds down the street, they open up a gate when the sun comes up, and there's a beach area where we parked our camper, and we did some exploring and found some really cool stuff. Now, during this process, guys, we had put, you know, food that we were going to eat and cook for breakfast and so forth. And we were told when we called that you have to hook up your camper 8 to 16 or so hours before you go on a trip, right? Hook up your camper to power or plug in your fridge, whatever the case is, to give the fridge time to cool down, because it takes a long time. It's not like our residential fridges or anything of that nature. So, you know, we didn't realize that. So we're like, you know what? We got a mini fridge out on the side for the outdoor kitchen area. And it was cold enough, so we put some food in there, right? You know, we stocked it up. And we figured, well, by the time, you know, a few hours go by, at least the freezer will be cold enough to put our frozen foods in. And we continued on our way. We started driving. We got there. And throughout the morning, night, and so forth, we're checking, and the freezer is just not getting cold. The refrigerator's not getting cold. And it started to ring some bells in my head. You know, the burning smell, I didn't smell it till I was almost to the refrigerator area. And, you know, that's kind of what I realized could be wrong. So, you know, I'm thinking about it, and we went through the walkthrough, and he's like, you know, guys, he's like, hey man, you know, this is a refrigerator. It's a refrigerator. Everybody knows what it is. And he's like, you want to see that there is a green light when you're hooked to power. If it's red, you need to check the gas because you're running on just gas, blah, blah, blah. And as you guys can tell, this is a pretty simple, basic refrigerator. So I didn't think anything of it, and I'm like, well, what does amber mean? Because it's lit up with an amber yellowish color. And he's like, oh, that probably is something simple. Let me go ahead and check it out. So we go around to the back of the camper. He takes off this little panel really quick, which has these little twist things, and it pops the panel off. And he's like, oh, okay, it's simple. The refrigerator wasn't plugged in to the receptacle. I said, okay, let's go back in the camper and check to see if that light is green. So it means it's running on power now, right? It was green, and it, you know, seemed to be fine. And I didn't think to listen to see if maybe there was some kind of compressor or anything that kicks on or anything of that nature. I just thought it was something simple. You plug it in, it's got a green light, it should be good to go, right? So go ahead and finish the walkthrough, have them fix a couple other little things that I noticed, and then get it home, and we go on this trip, and all of a sudden we can't get the fridge to work. And we called it up, and they're like, oh, it's going to take forever. Just make sure that when you open the fridge that the light turns on so you know you're getting power. And we did that, and it was getting power. The light turned on, right? Well, that didn't last very long. All of a sudden, everything just shut down. I said, well, it's probably just a bad connection or something's going on. So then I was like, let me try the gas. So we ran it on gas. It kicked back on, right? The amber light turned on, and it was running on gas. About a few hours later, we checked the freezer. The freezer was getting pretty cold, and we thought, okay, well, everything's good. It just is going to take time. At least we know what to do now for the next trip, but we'll schedule an appointment to get whatever electrical thing is going on in there fixed. So we get it home, you know, after the trip and spending the day out on the beach and overnight. And we go and clean everything up, and we just had our first cold front. So I'm like, you know, let me go ahead before I take it on Monday to check everything out, right? We got a little bit of cold weather. Let me check the furnace, make sure at least that's working, because that's one thing I didn't check. So we went ahead and did that. You know, I turned on the furnace. It's working great, and the smoke alarm starts going off a few times, which I think is just simply it burning the dust or whatever chemicals is on it, because it is a brand new camper. So I went ahead, shut it off a couple times, and it seems to be fine now. But then I look back here, and I don't see a green light on, and it's running on the generator that's right outside. And I'm like, well, I knew there was something electrical going on with that. And, you know, I figured, well, it's probably just that. So I try to do the gas like we did at the camper, so I can let it run overnight and see what happens. Well, as you can tell, guys, there's no lights, not even for gas. I mean, the refrigerator is just completely dead. So it is annoying. So that's one of those things that you're going to have to look out for, is that smell. Check the refrigerator, anything at all that is electrical. Down here, guys, this is going to be your furnace. In a lot of the campers, there'll be something similar to that in the travel trailer. And you have your thermostat. So I went ahead, checked that, and like I said, everything's good with that. The AC is working, all the lights are working, the fans are working, everything is good to go, except for the one thing that really, apart from the AC or the heater, the one thing that really matters, obviously, is having a refrigerator for food, for drinks, for everything. So now we have to take that on Monday, guys, to get that checked out. But my suggestion would be to make sure you thoroughly, as I said before, go through every single thing. Make sure that your lights work, even on, you know, the actual cooking area. Make sure that the fans turn on, which, as you can hear, that kicked on. Make sure that your receptacles work. So our camper didn't come with that TV. We actually installed that ourselves. So we made sure that that was functioning right. And every other plug in the RV, we plugged our cell phone charger and everything else into it, just to make sure that all of that is working the way that it should. And the next step, you want to obviously make sure your AC is working, which usually is about the first thing that kicks on. With our camper, it's a gas electric. So you want to make sure that you're not just testing the electrical side, but the gas side of things. So our water heater, we went ahead and checked that. There's a vent out back, and it runs and heats up off of propane, but sometimes you need electric to run the fan or whatever else is back there. So we checked all that. That's good. So everything else checked out great. But when you guys get it home, please, for your sake, before you go on a long trip, make sure everything is working properly. That would be my biggest suggestion when you first get a camper, travel trailer, or RV, because the products that they use, they seem nice and all that good stuff, but they're not residential, so they're gonna have issues, right? But that's it for this video, guys. Thank you again for joining us, and I wanted to say, if this is your first time, it really helps us if you guys leave comments and likes for the algorithm, so that people can find this information out there, so that hopefully they can avoid any kind of nuisance issues or anything of that nature that is going on in their camper. Also, please subscribe. That will also help the algorithm out, which will help us have our videos seen by more people, so that we can continue passing along this information, so that the next first-time buyer like we are doesn't go through something similar to what we're going through. And as I said before, guys, if you guys have been through something similar to this, whether it's on a travel trailer, boat, anything of that nature, give us a shout and let us know in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, be safe, happy camping, and God bless.